Notice, in accordance with the new copy regulations, this episode of Quoth Raven is intended for ages 16 and up. While some of the content we sometimes feature on the show is kid-friendly, the context of the episode is to address adults and inform them of said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. And this week, our sponsor is Scratch and Spin Music, Comics, and More, located in the historic Triangle City section of West Columbia, South Carolina, where I will be a guest for Free Comic Book Day, along with Mike Hoffman, Unlovely Frankenstein, Kristen Keeley, Clay Patterson, and Justin Epps, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And with that, let me just say, welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Miss BrightRaven. I'm your host, Miss BrightRaven, 29-year veteran writer, illustrator, and editor of comics, science fiction, fantasy, and role-playing games. Rachel Young says hi. Hello, Rachel. My guest this week for Thursday night roundtable talk is comic book writer and illustrator Ben Perkins, and we're going to be talking about his forthcoming series, Heavy, which is currently being funded on crowdfunding through Kickstarter. And here is Ben.
Hey, thanks, Louis. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. You started this about how long ago was this heavy project?
Well, this project, it's kind of a long history in a way, because I started the character nearly 15 years ago. It was like an idea, I had a friend that just kind of had a off-the-cuff remark, and it materialized into this character. And like the next, I don't know, that was like 2008 maybe. It was a long time ago, maybe even before then. My kids were really small, and they're teenagers now, so this is a lot of time in between. But I was trying to find an appropriate kind of world and story that was worthy of the character. I was posting on DeviantArt for a long time, over 10 years, 15 years now. I was like over 4,000 drawings, and I started posting drawings of Heavy, and everyone was just really clamoring for more. They would love this character, and I didn't really have anything. They were just images, of this character doing crazy stuff. So there's a lot of, I wouldn't say pressure, but I felt like an obligation for all these people who were like kind of devoted just basically on site alone with this crazy character, that I had to kind of craft a story for him. And nothing ever seemed to work. It was always like, was he a bodyguard? Was he like a washed up taxi driver? What kind of past did he have? He had very even the tomes, it was like always shifting until I just kind of was watching a Western. I can't remember what I was watching. It was one of the old ones, one of the Sergio Leone joint. And it was kind of just hit me in the face. I'm like, what if I made it in a Western? And I talked to my longtime comic collaborator, Aaron Stewart. We did another book together that was kind of an anthropomorphic character as well. And he was like, yeah, it makes sense. He's a horse. But then crafting that world is how it all started coalescing. And that happened about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, where I finally just kind of solidified how I wanted this world to be portrayed. And then it kind of does everything I want it to do. So it's kind of a weird, and I didn't.
Sometimes it just takes that. Sometimes it's just something that takes that time to germinate and grow into something that you're ready to produce.
Right, and I kind of stupidly wanted it to be as epic as I could make it, which is dumb,
But everybody wants their story to be epic. I mean,
yeah, right. Well, but then the advice is always like, don't have that be your first thing. So luckily enough for me, I was kind of been working in Portland as a comic artist in the background for about 20 years, really just kind of funding. You have an accountant that wants to do a comic, but he doesn't know how to do it, so they contact me. and I just kind of, give him a real cheap rate and just kind of push it out for him and help him. So I did that a lot for 20 years, all the time, kind of developing this story and trying to massage it to where it needed to be, and then finally have the opportunity to kind of like, I said, okay, I'm not going to work for other. I still want to work for other people. I really like helping people's dreams come true, in that regard, especially people that aren't really familiar with comic books. It's kind of a bridge to be like I can talk to anybody. I'm a layman for everyone. I think so. I can help those people make a comic, and they don't have to worry about the ins and outs or like the minutia that like some other professionals may want.
Comics, right? Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just pretty basic. Like I'm have gun will travel. Have pen will draw your comic. But at a certain point, it was like I have to kind of do my own thing. I've been germinating on this idea. Now it's kind of like full steam. I had a publisher that was helping me put it out for a while. That went defunct, and so the opportunity for me to kind of swallow my fear of crowdfunding, that's kind of where it kind of led into getting the Kickstarter started. So, and already I'm like really doing really well. I'm kind of amazed.
Your Kickstarter started 10 days ago approximately.
Yeah, I have 19 days left, and it's already almost 80% funded, which is insane.
Yes, we're going to show your Kickstarter page in a little bit.
Perfect. Yeah. No worries.
But I took your images off the Kickstarter screen, and I blew them up a little bit so we can show some of the.
Hopefully they're not too blurry. I try to use high res images, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, well, let's see how we did.
Okay.
This is what size format are you going to be publishing this in?
So it's Western sized format because I'm an idiot and I want to challenge myself and do the hardest comic possible. It is going to be. So the dimension is going to be 9 inches across by 6 inches tall.
Okay.
So it's almost the size of your standard comic. It's just flipped on its side. And I almost went with doing a calendar style reading format for it. But I thought that the widescreen was already obtrusive enough that I had to kind of just find a person that could do saddle stitch with the dimensions I could work within. So I had to reformat the first half of the book. After I talked with my printer and saw what they could do for me, I kind of ended up resizing it to the 9x6 because I wanted it to be an 8.5 by 11 size book on its side, just big in your face, encompassing your whole viewing area, just to kind of like get across the flatness and desolation of this world. So it was, I'm committed to it. It's a bitch because you had to change. Go ahead, yeah.
I've seen other people do that format. This is not
it's not new.
Yeah, it's not something that's like really out there. It's
right. But one of the unique challenges is trying to figure out how to create the reading flow that doesn't work against the standard of like a more vertical page. So things like I follow cartoonist Kayfabe on YouTube, and they're talking about left-handed stacked panels. I have a bunch of them in this book, but hopefully I did it in a very smart way that like with word balloon placements and composition eye flow, that people kind of naturally understand they have to read the left to the right instead, and across the page instead of top to bottom. So yeah. Okay, it's tricky, but it's challenging. I like that's the fun aspect of like when I locked into that format. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be hard, but like we can have some fun too,
Yeah. So this is your first page of the first chapter.
Sure.
The sacrifice. And is this heavy riding a giant lizard?
No, that's not heavy. Heavy is as I like to call him, our equine protagonist. So he's basically a big, stocky, brawny dude with a head of a horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he could still have the head of the horse. He just could be covered with that.
Exactly. Well, and that's part of hopefully what kind of hook you in and be like, okay, what's going on here, And it's actually one of my favorite pages of the book. This is the first page, so it's all downhill from here.
For those who might not be able to tell, in the biggest panel on the right, the writer has a child in a swath inside against her chest.
Mm-hmm. And her name is you'll learn is Tanya, and she actually becomes a very focal character, which is something I didn't plan either. It was in writing the book that I kind of understood was more like her story than it was Heavy's. It's still Heavy's. It's still predominantly a Heavy story. Everything that happens is because of him, and everything that went wrong is because of him. But that's why I tried to frame this book as a person who's kind of taking back the responsibility that they neglected. So it's kind of like a surrogate child to him in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And here's the next page. I hope I got these in the right order.
They look in the right order so far, but we're only 2 down. So I'm very excited. Thank you for displaying these. They look really great on the screen. So
I presume that she's being chased by these other writers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is our antagonist's elite guard, as I like to call them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's another major character in the book. Her name is Kamaro, and she plays a small role. Okay. That kind of like, I don't know. Like I'm writing this as I go too, so I want her to be important.
I like how all the writers are different, completely different steeds.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, variety is the spice of life, right? They shouldn't be all riding the same thing. It's kind of like He-Man characters and stuff, and if they had a steed or whatever, it'd be a cat. Or, they all have their own like vehicle kind of thing. It's kind of the same idea, just kind of keep it fresh. And I just like to design really crazy creatures and people and stuff. So it just gives me a chance to kind of go crazy.
And of course, now she's, got her mechanical binoculars.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is you have another, again, that's a left-handed panel stack. And of course, that could be, it's really treacherous territory to be, because you want to shift from the first panel to the middle, but then you automatically just got binoculars. So wait, how did she get those? And then you kind of, I think, once you get in a few pages and I kind of establish the reading flow that you need, I think it becomes way easier. I've sent the PDF to a couple of people and they haven't had any problems with reading it. So
I think it reads fairly clearly.
Perfect. Yeah, that's reassuring as hell because I don't want anyone to be confused. That's the last thing I want.
Yeah. Again, you are doing an American comic. It is supposed to be reading left to right as a general rule of thumb. It's
of course, right.
I mean, I don't know if here's the question: if you flipped it around for the Japanese audience, could they read it?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'd have to do some repositioning, but yeah, definitely. In fact, all the thumbnails that I did for this first issue were traditional layouts, for the regular size. And then when I decided to do the Western, I had to kind of reshuffle them, but it's all pretty much just like taking it and then twisting it, and then kind of restacking it a little bit. But most of the time, the flow, it remained the same. So it was one of the things I was surprised about that either speaks to my good design nature or just the way that comics inherently can work and be comprehended. It just kind of started to become real easy. And one of the most fun aspects I like designing pages. That's the best part.
Are you doing this traditional or digital or both?
Well, my hope is that you'll never be able to tell. It depends on what I need to do. There are a few. That's why on my Kickstarter, I'm giving away original pages of the first issue. But I couldn't find them all because I think some of them I did do completely digital. So for the most part, I wanted to do all the inking traditional.
Okay.
But it depends on like if I need. It's like I've been again during heat waves and stuff. The paper buckles under the moisture, the sweat, and whatever. It's not really conducive to like inking, so that'll be when I'll probably do digital or something. All the colors digital.
Right.
A lot of the lettering, I'm trying to do traditional lettering, which I think I have some pretty fun examples. I mean, this is kind of the alien or whatever kind of readout display thing she's reading. It's kind of like a little language. I've been really trying to work on doing as much as I can on the page before the color. The color is not easy, but it's easier to do on a computer. So most of the time, most of the pages are traditional, inked, penciled inked, the whole thing. That's nice.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it looks really sharp.
Again, now our female protagonist, we'll call her that, because she is also a co-protagonist with Heavy, I would presume.
Sure. Yeah.
She arrives at some sort of city or
it's like a what did I call it? Like technically an oasis, but it's like a little settlement.
Yeah, settlement.
Mostly for trading and bartering. It's kind of like a market.
There you go.
Like a bazaar.
Yeah. It's quite interesting that you keep doing these pages. Wow. I'm sitting here looking at the layouts on this, and it's going to be real interesting to see when this comes out in print, how it's going to look.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I'm using actually a local printer too, so I think they'll do a good enough job. They've been really.
What do you call a local printer? Just out of curiosity.
A local printer that operates within my city. So I reached out to.
In other words, you can actually physically talk to them in person. And
well, it's kind of interesting because their offices are actually out of New York, and they have a few different plants around the country. And so theirs is the closest one. I believe it might be in Medford or closer to Portland than I realized. I don't know. I talked to a lot of printers over the last few weeks, so they kind of get jumbled up. But they gave me a good bid. They worked with me on all of my questions and all my bids, and they were super patient and really nice with me. And they, being local, really cheap to ship to my house. So that was, I guess, a really deciding factor because it can be a difference of $100 depending on where you get it from, hundreds of dollars. So. So hopefully once everything gets going and the Kickstarter gets funded, I can get a proof from them. I'm pretty sure I'll be delighted with it because I'm usually not too picky about I don't know, everyone I have gone through usually does a good printing job, especially when they're local. They do the hardest work and they're really good people, so I want to support them.
So this is what I would call a post-apocalyptic science fiction Western.
It's basically what it is. It's hard because I always get kind of squeamish when I hear post-apocalyptic. It seems kind of like tropey, but it was the only way I could get to this story in a way, to be a Western without it being a period piece. It's kind of like a forward period piece,
right?
But it's not always going to be set in this world. There's going to be a lot of backstories. There's going to be issues where we look at Heavy during the different times in his life. Like I said, it was a huge epic when I started this thing, so I broke it down to 4 eras.
Okay.
And so that's kind of like what, and the each era you look at is the further you go back. So the last era you see is like when we, as like a society, first get introduced to Heavy as a way. I don't want to spoil it too much, but so big deal is basically my idea was every time you learn something more about Heavy, his importance gets bigger. And then I figured like, well, how could he have the most importance? And that's kind of where I led to my conclusion of where I wanted him to end up, as framework. With his relationship to like humans and stuff like that. So,
okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if there's one more page here. Yes, there was. Okay.
No, I think there might be one more after that too.
Yeah.
That's kind of. Yeah, though that's that 6-page preview I had in my Kickstarter, kind of to reveal. I want to at least reveal Heavy. My first pass through, he didn't show up to like page 18 or something, and I'm like, that's too much. So yeah, page 6, then right there at the bottom of the page, you get our hero.
Yeah,
hero shot.
He's there in the cage there.
Yeah, he's in a caged ring. Basically, like a
fighter ring.
Yep, he is UFC fighting his way against a giant mechanical robot.
Yeah. Okay. So
again, like a lot of chances to, and there's a reason why there's like a bunch of crazy creatures running around this Earth world, in the future, like what happened. That's hopefully going to be, an answer that is satisfying when people get to that. So,
okay. How many pages is the first issue?
The first issue, I believe, I know it's 40 pages in total. I think I have 28 pages of story. Then I have about 6 pages of like, I have a page of like a history, kind of like what we're going through now, the different iterations. Then I have a smattering of all these drawings and illustrations I did of Heavy through these different permutations. And then I have a couple of pages of fan art, one from my son and one from an artist named Adam Lemna, who I connected with on Cartoons Kayfabe, and I've done some pinups for him. He's checked out some of my work, and I've checked out some of his. We're good buddies. So, and then Craig CK is doing another pinup in there for like fan art. So that's kind of another thing I want to try to interact with the community, is have them send in kind of like what Ed Pritzker is doing with Red Room, having the Gore Gallery in the back. I kind of stole that idea because it's a great idea, and it's a great way to kind of interact with the community and just tapping people on the shoulder that you admire and being like, hey man, can you want to help me make my book look prettier?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. Everyone in the community is so supportive, and I get a lot of love from everybody, which is like I said, it's been really that more than anything has been the most outstanding part of this whole process. I just started putting a couple of drawings up here and there, and everyone started kind of really digging it. So
okay, well, you've offered quite a bit of stuff on your Kickstarter. You've got a lot of little tiers,
and
things.
All manageable, hopefully enough. Like I said, this is my first time out, so I'm hoping we can make it happen. But
we'll get that in just a second. I was wondering, how many issues do you think this is going to be?
Well, I planned out for 12.
Okay.
with the last one being kind of like a double maxi sized, like, and like a banger, and on a good note,
Okay.
But we'll see. I would like to be able to have this thing perpetuate itself so I can actually create those books, but you never know. The comics game is very shaky ground most of the time, especially for freelancers.
Yes. Well, especially for funding.
This is true as well. All right. Yeah.
That's the reason I asked that, and I mentioned this to a lot of people who are doing the crowdfunding, and they're not Marvel DC guys.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I always say one of the options that you should try is maybe get people to commit to a multiple book.
Right. Yeah.
So money coming in so that you have that set up and you can guarantee X amount of issues or something. But
right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my nature because that's what I did back when I started in the 90s.
That's really smart. Yeah. I think I need to have more confidence in seeing how well it would do and that it's not a fluke. Right. To have that happen, but
it's never so much a fluke as much as hard work marketing and stuff.
Right. And I can be a tad lazy, which I'm trying to change. So we'll see. I'm open to anything at this point, really. I'm going with the flow Ben right now. That's what the whole idea is. So
you've been doing this Kickstarter for 10 days, and you are, like you say, almost around 75-80% fulfilled.
Yeah, man. Pretty. I don't know how to feel about that. My expectation is it's probably going to remain relatively steady. Relatively steady through the course of the rest of the month. I do with this will probably help give it a nice bump. I have another interview coming up of this weekend that'll be pretty awesome too. So, and then I'm going to be talking with another group. They can't say too much about it, so I'll just stop there.
Well, like I say, each time you do this is your marketing. This is
no, you got to hustle, man. Never stop, never stopping. You got to keep doing it. Those who know, it's all about the hustle.
You got 87 backers here in 11 days. You got 19 days to go.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, right?
Well, really, you don't have that many backers yet. You got money, but you haven't got backers. And this is the thing, folks. It's a nice thing to have a pledge goal set for your dollars. But what he really needs is backers.
That is true. Yeah, the more people that know, the more people that just helps get the word out.
You can sit there and listen to Ethan Van Sciver brag about his umpteen tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, but then look at his backer numbers. And if you put those backer numbers as individual purchasers, that would put him around rank 250 in the Diamond Top 300.
Wow.
So it's not just about dollars; it's about getting a readership built.
Yeah, and that's exactly the most important thing for me. My whole idea is to share my ideas, and hopefully they can connect with people. The more people that can, my biggest thing is share. You never know who is going to like this comic, and it's not, it's I don't know. I can't really describe its tone because it's all over the place, but it's just like a fun look at comics. Because I do a lot of comic centric, like looking at comic, I have a little bit where we go in the past with Heavy, and he is kind of like an Iron Man substitute, his name is Chariot, and he flies around, and that's going to be all pulpy hero kind of stuff, So I have like an issue where it's all Mad Max kind of references. It's a big desert machine race. I'm trying to play with some tropes and stuff and keep it kind of fun. So it's going to get crazy. It's going to get wild, but I'm just really hoping people kind of get on board with the first issue and are excited to kind of return. Hopefully in future Kickstarters, I can actually have bundled issues. If I can work on the next one that's like a 1-2 issue and just build from there. I think it could go places. I think it has legs. It's a good idea.
Yes. Okay, let's go down. We've already looked at this artwork that you put because I took it off your Kickstarter page. But let's look at your levels.
Okay.
First off, the most affordable level is a $7 donation where you get 2 PDFs. You get the regular issue 1 PDF download. And what is the Heavy Mega download?
So this is a compilation of all these past Heavy stories that I kind of alluded to earlier. One of them is the first Heavy story I ever did. It's called Bad Day, which is kind of like it's a pun and a joke, but it's kind of intense. Really inspired back in the day by Sin City, Frank Miller, and that kind of stuff. So it's very, very noir and gritty, and just kind of it's unsettling, to say the least. But I have like a prologue that doesn't even have a Heavy in it, but it kind of set up a story that I was trying to work on within the confines of setting heavy in a modern society time kind of thing, which didn't work out. But all those elements every element from every kind of piece kind of carried over to what's going on now. So basically, it's just kind of like it's slightly canonical, but non-canonical. Just kind of early attempts at trying to break this story. And I figured it'd be fun that I collected it for Rose City Comic Con one year. It did pretty well. It was fun, so I decided I'd collect all the PDFs I've made of him, save for the first issue, of course, because it's an entirely different thing, and just see, people can read about it. It kind of gives a little bit more depth to the, whole world that he's living in. All those things are there. They're just not as canonical. But the tone and the themes are kind of the same.
Okay.
And I did make a mistake, though. I should point out that there is a shipping charge on the PDF, which is stupid. I forgot to edit it because it was supposed to get the original issue in print and then a heavy, the mega PDF download. But I changed it both to a download on a reference or suggestion from a friend. But I forgot to change the shipping. So when someone backed it, I couldn't edit it. So to anyone out there that doesn't find that fair, I can definitely refund that $4. Not a big deal. Or I can give you something for compensation. But yeah, I don't want people to think I'm that stupid. So yeah, I think I probably edited the Kickstarter there in that paragraph just to make that a bit more clear. But I just want people, if they're just going to do the $7 tier, there is a $4 shipping charge that I cannot edit or delete. But I'm happy to refund that. So
okay. The next level is a $15 pledge. That is the print issue of Heavy #1, and then you still get the mega as a PDF, and it says a Heavy mini poster.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm kind of curious here. A lot of people give the PDF with the print.
Sure.
Was there a reason why you chose not to do that?
I'm sorry, which one? The PDF?
Yeah, you're not giving.
Oh, the heavy issue?
Yeah, for Heavy issue #1 for $15. You get
I never thought of it, to be quite honest. And I figured if you're going to get the print issue, maybe you wouldn't want the PDF. I mean, I'm a guy who prefers print, so I just think the print is best.
Sure.
So that was my thinking. I just figured, hey, you pay the $15, you pay the extra, you get the if you want the PDF, I'm sure happy to give it to you. I just don't know why you want it twice, but that's not, it's not my opinion.
I know where you're coming from. It's just something that a lot of other people do.
Sure, and I should have probably done more research. Like I said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So,
okay. Do you have a way to share a little bit larger screen with that mini poster?
I have the only version I have is a high res version right now. So I think the answer is probably no. I mean, it's basically a crustacean monster. He's fighting orange background. And it's like, again, one of the different iterations of Heavy. Like, was the more contemporary version of him, like modern society, I guess you'd say. He's in a black T-shirt, smoking a cigarette, beating a fingered crustaceous monster.
Okay. Third tier is $24. You get what you already talked about, the first issue.
Right. I mean, I'm stacking on stuff. I just kind of wanted to make that pot real sweet,
What
like stuff I wanted.
Okay, fire button. It's just like the character's on fire, I guess.
Yeah, he's just coming through. I was trying to find some of the baddest, coolest images of Heavy that would work on a button. Surprisingly, not many did because there's just so much detail in a lot of them. But I tried to go for the more iconic ones, and that was that doesn't have anything to do with anything. It was just a drawing I did one day, threw some computer color fire on it, and I'm like, oh, he's working out of a burning building. Not a scratch or scathe or anything. That's pretty badass. And it works on a button. I think it looks really cool. Not a lot of normal colors you see on a button, so I was trying to go for that interested thing. But
what size is that button?
That button, I believe, I have to check, but I believe it's going to be either 1 1/4 or 2 2/4.
Okay,
which would be 2 1/2. But I think it's 1 1/4 round. So again, I'm doing it through a local company here in town called One Round, and they're out of Portland. Great deals, low cost and shipping. So it's all a benefit to me, to get this stuff produced. I think that's why the goal is kind of as low as I could keep it. So I wanted to be able to, make it like affordable for everyone else too. I just need enough to get it printed. I estimate that I want to try to get at least 300 packages all kind of done up. So that was kind of where I hit that.
Artwork is stunning. I am loving the color palette for sure, says Rachel Young.
That's really sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not very confident in a lot of my coloring, to be quite honest. Especially, I've been getting rave reviews for this book's coloring, which is a credit to, I guess, my patience, because I started to kind of experiment at the end, and not to get lazy, but I was just kind of trying to figure out faster ways to do it, because the way I set it up, I have a few layers that act as basically what I'm trying to do is emulate the way physical light would play off of stuff. So it's all shadows and stuff. But that takes a considerable amount of thinking and work. And while it was coming out looking really beautiful, I was really not that confident that it would play. And I guess it did. I mean, my whole design for the first issue was kind of like a Pixar movie. Just establish the world, pack it with as much detail as I can, and then once the story starts going, I can kind of pull back on all that laborious color and try to limit like color palettes. There's like at the end, there's just it's like a blue and purple when he's coming home at night.
I think it depends on what you want to do and how you want to do it. I mean,
it's all about the scene. The scene dictates everything.
I mean, I would not like. You say pull back. I don't know exactly what you mean.
Well, I mean, like a little bit like a refrain. You know, I'm trying to want to get it done. The speed. Right. You know, the clock is always ticking when you're a cartoonist. You know, just turn them and burn them. And I was just really, you know, spending like 2 whole days working on the color for one page when I really wanted to kind of, because I was doing 4 pages a week at one point, and I wanted to try to shrink it down to getting that color down in one day. So that's when I started kind of like, you know, well, maybe I don't need as many layers. Let's see how many few layers I could use, you know, instead of 25, why don't I use just 3? You know, well, when I started Photoshop, man, I was stacking them. There were 75 layers deep, and I'm like, what am I doing to myself? I was all, I have an incredible amount of OCD, so I was labeling them all, you know, making sure where they're at. But it's a lot to keep track of. It's like herding cats, and that's not fun. So
no,
that was happening kind of in the middle.
You were excessive on 75 layers, yes.
Yeah, trust me. So, and I felt like I was getting excessive again, even at like, you know, 19, 20 layers. So
definitely.
My motto was like, pull it back to at least 7 is the most, 3 is the average.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and then just makes things go so much quicker, and I can think about things instead of just letting them happen. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to describe. When I have fewer choices, I have to make better decisions. So that's kind of like what it comes down to.
Okay, next level, $35. You get all the stuff there, and you add a Legends card and a Friends and Enemies cards.
Yeah.
Are these like, how many cards are you getting here?
So you're going to get 8 cards. I was going to separate the tiers as far as like you can get this set and then you get this set. I just figured, what the fuck? Pardon my French, sorry. What the hell?
No, hey,
let's just.
That's why it's TV16, buddy.
Well, I just wanted to keep it as clean as I could, but they'll slip out once in a while. I can't help it. I'm East Coast. So there are 8 different cards, but they're 2 different series. So basically, I was trying to play homage to the old Marvel Series 1 and Series 2 cards and how they had them kind of designed on the front. I really wanted to go and design the backs of them with like power levels and stuff, and it just it wasn't really conducive to like what I wanted to do with them. It was a fun idea, but I didn't want to get too on the nose with it. So
right, plus your production costs go up, and you gotta do front and backs, and
and exactly, and to think about how 8 cards divvies up between like 300 people, you know how many I'm gonna need for each. You know what I mean? Just to kind of like keep that. Was already get my head spinning, so I kind of kept it a little selective. The first set of cards, the Legends cards, are like those eras I was talking about. We got like a Primordial kind of thing. We have the Modern Society one. We've got the the Western post-apocalyptic version, and then the Friends and Enemies is just kind of one of the stories took place in like we would say contemporary times, where he's like a taxi driver. He's got another younger woman friend named Seven, who was kind of like, again, another surrogate type daughter for him. A couple of agency people called Horsemen, and then I think I have him staring against the dragon face guy. So basically, it's like, it's his buddies back in like a certain era of his time. I just thought they'd be fun, and like, you can trade them and stuff. I don't know. I thought, I don't see a lot of trading cards, and I found it was actually a playing card company that I found that can do it for cheap, and they're gonna look like playing cards, and that was kind of the intention. But I wanted them to have the look of the Marvel cards, but the feel of a playing card, a little bit more durability, not the cardboard stock stuff. I mean, they're gonna be they'll be fun. I haven't got the proofs for those yet, but I'm excited. I've talked to a few people that use them, and they're really good products, so I'm stoked.
Okay. Issue or next level rather is $50, and you also get an original drawing. What size are you going to be drawing?
It depends. That would be what I'll say. At the most, it'll be 8.5 by 11. It's stuff. I have original drawings that I've done throughout the years that I'm using for this, and then if whatever left over, I have a whole list of kind of drawings that I can do for as many people. But it's mostly just like pen and ink drawings. There might be some pencil sketches in there, but they're really good drawings, and it's cool that I can actually use them in some capacity instead of letting go to waste in the corner of my studio. So that's kind of a nice benefit for whoever wants an original drawing, and me wanting to share that drawing. So that's kind of fun.
And then, of course, what you have listed as your final level.
Sure. Like I said, I try to keep it really, really compact. I didn't want to get too overwhelmed with it.
Well, it depends on how far you guys get and how many people back you. You can always add more tiers. But you can get original artwork from the actual first issue for $100.
Yep.
In addition,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
In addition to everything else that you've already offered, and people need to realize most original artwork, when it's done well, can sell very good prices on the collector's market. So, to give it at $100 is really cheap, actually.
Well, I'm always underselling myself, but at the same time, I want it to be kind of like an introductory offer kind of thing. It could be an investment, that's fine too. I have done gallery work for 5 years, painting huge murals, 8.5 by 8 or 8 feet by 8 feet. In some cases, I did one that was 16 feet by 8 feet, really, really big. And so, yeah, as far as original art and paintings and stuff, I know how hard it is to sell those. So I'm not expecting. So I want to keep it manageable. I want to keep it. It's the experience, right? If you believe in the product, you're interested, and you want a piece of original comic art, then that's the way to go. I mean, I don't know where it's going to go. Don't know how popular it's going to get.
Again, you
never know.
To that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you.
And now you've been working in comics off and on, doing other projects, doing commercial products for other people. For how many years now?
Well, I moved to Portland in '97, so little around 20 years. I started working with a guy, and he started a little comic company, and then I just hopped from person to person. I mean, I've been doing it steadily. It's not the only thing I can make my living on,
right.
But for the last for the last 5 or 6 years, I had a partner. When we were working on a book, I don't know what's happening with it now. That seems to be the issue with a lot of. That's another reason why I kind of want to just kind of get my stuff out there now.
Sure.
A lot of the projects I worked on may never see the light of day in print, which is whatever.
Or they just don't get completed for whatever reasons. I've
had a number of people I worked with. I worked with some. The most famous person I worked with was Nate the Rock Corey, who was a UFC fighter. He just actually came out with his Kickstarter, Zombie Cage Fighter, of which I was going to be an artist on. We didn't click on the art, a little bit more indie, a little bit more like Scott Morse than I am, a Jim Lee. The artist he got for the book is great, dynamic, and perfect for his book. So and I still no ill will. He's a good, friend. So I want to be able to support him. So I was able to get that the other day, and it looks awesome, But I've worked with people you never have heard of, and it's one of my favorite projects I worked on was a project called Dark Matters with this guy named Pete, and it's an epic. It's huge. It's like one of the most favorite things I've ever done, but I don't know if anyone's ever going to read it because I don't know where he is at with the publishing process. I was only hired to do the art, so it's some of the best art I've ever done, some of the best storytelling I've ever done. I learned so much on that book, but stuff like that. So it's my time to just kind of.
What can we actually find out there?
So, actually, that's a good question. I'm yes, because I would have forgot. It would have been
freezing up
at me.
Yeah, you're freezing up.
So me and my friend Aaron and Stewart created a character called Galaxy Gator, and you can find that at galaxygator.net. That is a
Yeah, I'm trying to get him, let him know he's got his screen frozen. He may have to reboot again. He had an issue earlier. Let me see if he's there or not. Hope it's not his laptop freezing completely. While we're waiting, yep, he just left the screen, so he's going to reboot and come back. I don't know what's going on with his computer tonight. He had some other issues earlier tonight, but hopefully we'll be able to get him back here shortly. In the meantime, let's take a continued look here at this Kickstarter. Again, he's got them all the way up there with the tiers. He's got 7 left on the $100 because it is limited to 20 total backers. Most people are backing the 15 tier 2 with the regular print and the PDF for the backstory mega PDF logo with the poster. Let's see if he's. I'm still waiting to hear back from him. I got a white screen. Let's see if he comes back. You okay? Are you there?
No. Yeah.
It's still freezing up a little bit.
Yeah, I think my computer is
Yeah. Yep, he's out again. I don't know what's going on. I know he doesn't either. That's a shame. We'll keep going with it, though. We'll keep trying to market this for you guys. If he can't come back, then I'll see what I can do on Facebook with him. But in the meantime, I'm waiting. We're waiting to hear back from Ben. Hopefully, he'll be able to get back here shortly. He may have to reboot his computer again. I'm liking the work pretty much. I haven't decided which one I'm going to buy just yet.
All right, I'm back. I got on my phone now, so hopefully that works.
Okay.
So sorry about that. Unexpected user error. The heat wave. I am so embarrassed. I'm so sorry.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I don't know. My computer's super hot right now. So I think that's what was happening. It was just kind of lagging. But I'm on my phone. I'm at full power. We're good to go. So sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Things happen. You know.
I really appreciate your patience and everybody out there who's watching. Thank you.
You know, I believe me. I've had shows like I told you off before we started the show. I had one gentleman. His connection went so bad that I had to have him email me. I had to like type in all of his recordings over.
Awkward.
But yeah, it was a rough issue, a rough episode, but I got it done because
well, hey man, the show must go on, right?
John's saying good night.
Good night, John.
Yeah, and he's probably.
So we were talking before we got scrambled here about where you can find some of my work online. It is galaxygator.net. It's a basically the tag was it's an anthropomorphic space race, and it's about Gentry Garrison, who's an alligator. Who is trying to rescue his people who are subordinate.
Galaxygator.net.
That's correct.
Okay.
So that's an online shop, and I think you can download the issues for pretty cheap, but you can get a trade paperback. We have, I think, 5 issues or 6 altogether.
Okay.
It took me about 3 years to do the first book, and then after that it was like 1 a year. So we showed up at Rose City every year, tried to plug the next issue. I've always tabled Aaron. He's a great guy, hell of a writer, and I hope I made his words look pretty enough. But he has welcomed me back to work on the next set, so that's promising.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and check that out as well.
Yeah, it's a fun. Again, a lot of inventive storytelling. I'm really proud of all this stuff in there too. Really, really good stuff.
You seem to like a lot of anthropomorphic type comics.
I know they got to the point where like it was heavy, was kind of looking similar to Gentry, and I had to fix that a little bit. But I have a affinity for anthropomorphic characters. I don't know why. I think they add a level of like fable to a character. You know, a little bit of implied. Like morality in a way. For Heavy, it was just the fact that he's a workhorse. You know, I try to model off of a Clydesdale predominantly, but he's gray, so I mean he's kind of indistinct. But the idea of a horse, I've always loved horses, and I just thought a big gruffy. But my friend would just like he would get mad. He would say, he kept playfully mad. He would say, "Don't make me drop the heavy horse." And we don't know what that means. I was trying to figure it out, but I hadn't seen him in a long time, and he came over, and I had children, and we were talking, and he said that out of nostalgia, and I just immediately saw this horse-like guy just kind of like entering light from a pool of shadows, and I just from that image in my head, it just fired me to get to know this character and like what he was all about. Of course, he started off as like a literal horse that could stand on his hind legs. And he would just be on a farm eating mushrooms all day. And I was like, there's not really any place I can go with that. So I was like, well, what if he's like a private eye? I didn't have the capacity to tell those kind of stories. So I wanted it to be noir, and I wanted it to be a detective story, but I realized I'm not smart enough to write detective fiction. So that was out. So yeah, I don't know, a lot of different, like I said, permutations, but it's been a fun ride. I love Heavy to death. He's like one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to do some of that stuff, wait until I see your actual work.
Right.
You know, because I mean, you can always collaborate with other writers.
This is true. I have left a lot. The way I structured the story, I left a lot open where I can actually go back and tell like the hidden tales. You know, the stuff in between the books or whatever, as you were. So yeah, that's interesting. So I like the idea. He's an immortal character, so there's a lot you can do with it already.
Okay. He's immortal, you said? Yeah,
he's immortal. I haven't really defined a lifespan for him, but as far as how he interacts with Earth, he can live a long, long time, and he's almost indestructible.
Okay.
So it lends himself, but he's like a very vulnerable heart too. You know, he's a softie. You know, but he tries to be tough. You know.
Yeah. You can't break my body, but don't break my heart.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's the softest place on all of us if you think about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is going to be fun, though. I mean, I'm looking at this. I'm probably going to get probably the 50 tier.
Good for you, man. Thank you. That'd be awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of people that signed up for that one, which I was surprised at. A lot of people signed up for the last tier too, which kind of I had to quickly count my pages again to make sure that I had enough to send out. Unfortunately, I do, and I think I might have a couple of pages from the second issue tucked in there as well. So we'll see. But yeah, so many people were buying into that one. I'm like, oh, I gotta make sure I have enough. That's why I put limit up to 20 because I only have about 20, so I want to make sure everyone that wants one gets one. So
sure. I'm thinking T-shirt.
That'd be great. But I know in my past experience, I haven't had good luck making T-shirts because they are very expensive and they come out really crappy. So if I can find a great place with those T-shirts, yeah. I actually connected with another local person here the other day who has his own apparel company. He designs his own shirts. So I gave him my card. So there might be a possibility there for a future Kickstarter T-shirt. T-shirts are always a fun idea. I love wearing graphic tees. I love wearing funky T-shirts. It's my jam. But they're for me, they were held to coordinate and produce. That might be better now.
Yeah, well, no, I totally understand. That's why I haven't got mine made. So,
yeah, right. You understand, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, people have been wanting me to do like 5 or 6 different T-shirts for this podcast, and I'm like,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see the triangle in the top right corner of the screen.
Sure. Yep.
Did they want that one? They want.
That's fun.
They want my first season one where the Raven, the full-bodied Raven, is talking on the microphone in his space station.
That's cool. Right on. That's awesome. Yeah.
So, people want stuff from me, so it's just like.
It's good that they want stuff. Just again, like how many people will show up to get it once it's out. That's the
right. That's it. C. Kim Craig K says,
"Hey, there he is.
Last year here, boss."
I know. Yeah, he was one of the first ones to get on that last year, real quick. So that's Craig's the man, dude.
Yeah,
I love you, Craig.
So it's very fun thing here I'm looking at. And what is he writing in the
it's a big gigantic warthog.
Okay.
I guess is it the warthogs with the tusks? What are the tusks wild pigs are? He's just got I just figured yeah, like a boar. Yeah, like a boar, like a wild boar. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I just thought it would be redundant. That's why a lot of people ride horses either. I figured it would be weird if he was a horse guy and then people were riding like regular horses. I didn't know how that interaction would take place. I didn't know what to say about that. Because a lot of times it started with like puns, like, oh, why are you so long in the face? That kind of stuff. It was dumb. But I didn't want him to ride a horse because I thought that would look really stupid and dumb and just like weird. And then I decided I didn't want anyone else to ride a horse, so that's why that's. And then again, it gives me a chance to design crazy creature steeds. I feel like I'm designing a toy line or something at some points of the day, because I'm like, how crazy? How many straps can I put on a spider? To make it look like you could ride it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It keeps it interesting. Keeps it fun. And horses are really hard to draw.
Here's the thing, though. Because you have all those different characters and stuff like that, that could actually entice someone who wants to buy a license to it, to make the toys.
And that was something I would never turn down.
Well, don't say you'd never turn it down. They got to give you a good offer.
Well, I have principles, and I do definitely want what I want. But I would, like I said, I'll hear what you have to say, because hey, listen, I'd be the first in line to buy a line of heavy action figures. That's for sure.
Yeah. That would be kind of
even
cool.
Actually, I've actually experimented with making my own. I have a bunch of like resin statues I played with making like heavy figures. So I'll see if I can grab one real quick since I'm mobile now.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys can see this. Get a better light on it. So that's like a heavy.
That is nice.
A little McCaddy standing on a robot head. I always have this fascination with it. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, that was a bitch to do, but it came out great. He's wearing boxing trunks. I actually did one for Galaxy Gator too, but you can kind of see how similar they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just heavy with a longer tail. Nah. Anyway, so yeah, I was working on actually trying to do like little PVC figures and stuff too. My friend Jeremiah actually has a gaming company he started where he does 3D printed little pieces, so I might coordinate with him and maybe on one of the next Kickstarters getting like a set of 4 characters or something. That would be fun.
Yeah, that's a goal, definitely.
You gotta have the goals, man. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Like you said, you were going to do 12 issues of this series.
That's the dream. Right now, it's a dream. The first issue was a dream, and now it's a reality. Which is, I'm super happy about that, because again, so long writing and thinking about this character, and finally I can have a piece, at least a starting piece, the first breadcrumb, as it were, of the adventure. Hopefully, I can figure out a way to be lucky enough to get the rest done. I have a lot of stories I want to tell. Heavy isn't the only story I want to tell, and at this point, I want to get it done and over with so I can tell the other, like, what I feel are more interesting stories. But this has been a monkey on my back for years that I just had to get off,
Yeah. Don't sell your product short.
I'm not trying to, but I have really cool gimmicks for comics coming up that I want, and they're like really cool. And Heavy's great, and he's going to be around for a long time. It might be one of those things that I pepper in between the really exciting projects I want to do, and Heavy's an exciting project too. Don't get me wrong. But I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, I have this goal after this is done, and I want to get there too. That's the exciting part about. I come up with ideas all the time. I came up with an idea for a 13-year-old cat burglar, a female cat burglar the other day.
Mhm.
Yeah, dude. Craig's seen the book, dude. He loves it. I love Greg. His support has been amazing. Everybody and the Kate, the CK ringside.
Yeah.
I can't say that name even in real life. Never mind an interview. But yeah, the ringsiders, man. They're a good bunch, man. Happy to have them.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, because I remember I kind of got pitched at over there, so this was months ago.
Okay.
But that's why you don't see me post a lot over there, as far as like promoting my channel.
Sure.
Because I guess some of them thought I was trying to compete with Ed and Jim or something.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
I think people are free to share anything. I don't. I'm one of those people that kind of neglects the dirtier parts of that kind of fandom or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, if it's not a vibe, I go with them. I'll scroll past. Yeah, I'm not one to linger or engage. But my side of it, I see a lot of positivity and support and people cheering each other on, which is something that was kind of lacking for me personally here in Portland. There's not a lot of that, even though it's a huge comics community. I know I'm familiar with a lot of people who do comics here, and I never felt kind of included in that. I was kind of always off to the side. Again, maybe because I was doing comics for like accountants and lawyers and such, so which is understandable. I'm not a big I can fit in any group, but it was really gobsmacked by the amount of support, even after a few shares that I posted with some of our really cool community, man. And like a lot of those people, they're in my backers list.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're not a great community. They are.
Oh yeah.
I'm just, it's weird. Like I said, how do I explain this? A lot of people will say, "Oh, I want to watch your show," or "I do this and do that," and then they flake out. It's just the way it is,
Yeah,
so,
that's humanity.
Yeah, it's like, okay, then they go, well, people come to my show and go, well, I want to be on your show, but you don't have any subscribers. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it's like,
Well, I think it's a two-way street too. If you're on someone's thing, it's your job to promote that thing just as much as it is for the person who has that thing to promote it, right? I mean, it's all kind of like that shared experience.
Yeah, it is what it is. But whoops, hold on a second. Okay, that was that. Yeah, I mean,
agreed.
The one thing I can say is at least they're not like, I don't see a whole lot of CG nonsense over there.
What? Oh, yeah. I'm familiar. Yeah. Like again, a pool I don't dip my toe into. Just not worth my time, energy, stress. I don't really like thinking about that part. I understand it exists. I just try not to be that person. And when I first ran into it, it was like in the 90s, and I was, this is when comics were just kind of poking into the public mainstream. And I'd see girls come in that were interested in buying whatever, and automatically they're getting grilled as far as like their value to be there somehow. Yeah. And then they would leave and never come. They would leave and never come back. But these are the same girls that are like complaining that they don't have a girlfriend. I'm like, well, you don't even know how to talk to girls in the first place. That's probably part of the problem. Like you're shooting out girls that you could be hanging out with and have something in common with. What are you, dance? I was mad because they're kicking out potential dates for me. I'm like, hey, maybe I wanted to talk to her, right? You didn't have to grill on how well she knows Batman. What the frick are you talking about?
Who gives it?
Yeah, and that's so pointless. And I'm like, how much do you know about some obscure character? Give me a break. Like, that's horrible. Why would you do that to somebody? So even back then, it was like that was part of it.
Back then, I was in college in the 90s, and I would fight with the retailers.
Sure, yeah.
Because the retailers would be like, well, I don't need to carry Garfield. I don't need to carry Calvin and Hobbes. I don't need to carry Bloom County. I'm like, asshole, you got a college next door to you that has over 10,000 women, and I can guarantee you there's at least one out of every 10 reads one of those comics in trades.
Yeah, and my humble estimation was...
Like, oh, yeah, sure. So I got so mad at him, I actually went through all the campus dorm rooms and talked to all the girls, and we sat there and we boycotted the store.
Oh, wow. Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, that's fun.
And wow. I sat with my back against his front door. He drove up, and I had like 800 women standing outside his door picketing his store and his market.
Wow.
And I had the NBC News crew there.
Dang, dude. That's crazy. Where was this?
Mount Pleasant, Michigan.
Okay.
Back in 92, 93.
Sure.
And it was like, and when you have women, screaming, "We want Calvin, we want Snoopy, we want Garfield, we want Opie," and it's like you were saying there was no market for these characters, sir.
Right. And again, my thing about it is like I grew up, reading comics, and especially like when I got into junior high and really into high school. And like really getting into X-Men and stuff, and that whole thing was about accepting differences, getting rid of hatred, don't fear what you don't understand, that kind of thing. Sure. And so I felt like the whole comics community was like the X-Men, where we're like all inclusive and like, hey, whoever you are, whatever you do, whatever your value is or power sect or whatever, welcome aboard. Don't be afraid to be part of the group. And instead, these guys were doing the opposite and making people afraid or like less than to be a part of a group. And why would you want to be part of that group if they're going to make other people feel that way? It was toxic, and I just didn't associate those people. I never got it. It's this, and then now it's heightened. It's a weird fever pitch. Like I said, I don't like to engage because I just don't want to be not reminded, but I have more important things to think about than like some asshole that wants to keep people from reading comics. It's so stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it's the stuff like they got to jump on the writer who does I Am Not Starfire. And I'm like, why?
Right.
What's the problem? Well, she's a goth lesbian person. Who cares?
Well, again, it's a silly debate to take so much ownership over a fictional character that someone made up in their head 50 years ago that people want to kind of reinvent and make fresh for a contemporary audience. It's like let go of those tentacles. I mean, it's a power trip for one, but I think it's because like you're not making that character the way I want it to be made. Well, then maybe get a career in comics and write a story where that character can do exactly what you want them to do. Don't be a sidelined, a spectator and try call shots from the audience.
Sure.
It's not the audience job to tell the audience what art it wants. It's the artist's job to tell the audience what art it wants. If the audience could do that, then they'd be the artists. I think I butchered that Alan Moore quote, but you can look it up. It's a great quote.
Well, there's a lot of people who do that, who come with that line. But the thing is that storyline actually comes from Marv Wolfman. August, 30 years ago this year, or not 30 years, 28 years ago this week.
Right.
New Titans 100.
So people who don't understand the history are just kind of looking stupid.
Yeah. Well, New Titans 100, the wedding rather of Starfire and Nightwing that got broke up by the evil Raven. She impregnates Raven with her childlike soul self.
Oh, right.
It's all about. And it's just the person just took that plot that never went anywhere in the main storyline because
brought it back.
That's all this is. So why are you complaining?
Well, I think a lot of times too, where it's just now it's kind of naturally. Okay, I don't know how to say this, but like it's not that difficult to think about including like people of color, exactly. LGBT. It's part of our normal society now, so it's okay for them to be characters in fiction, right? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, and it hasn't had to be a thing where it's like celebrated or pointed to. It's just we can get to the point where when it naturally happens, that's the victory. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people who are those comic gators, I think they look at those issues and instead of realizing that society has kind of grown and changed around them, mm-hmm. and they haven't risen themselves to that level, mm-hmm. they're putting their own values in it, and like, look, they're trying to incorporate such and such of left-wing notion or character or whatever, when it's really just, hey, this is how society is now. Mm-hmm. Okay, with the times, brah. Don't be tripping. Like, just have a good time. It's not nothing's like not everything's an attack or a statement. Sometimes it's just the way it's a reflection of life. Contemporary life. It's a reflection
of life, but I think that a lot of the younger writers have this in-your-face attitude with the way they write it. It's very shock value type writing. And we didn't have that in earlier generations of writing. I think there was a more organic writing style there. And I think that's part of why people are angry. But then identify that correctly. Don't say it's because it's LGBTQ or SJW. Criticize the actual technique of the writing.
Well, And I think that's probably where the lack of understanding of craft comes into play, where they don't really know what goes into writing a story, and they don't know how to articulate their.
The thing is, these are the guys that were working on Marvel and DC for the last 30 years, making these comments. They know the craft. They know better.
Oh, see, I'm so lost. I don't dip my toe in any of that because it's not worth my time. People complaining. I mean, go ahead and complain. You can go into complaining to the sun because it's hot. It's not going to change anything. Just don't get with the program, people. And it's sad that it's professionals that are doing that. Yeah, I mean, I have a laid back approach. I don't try to create strife with anyone unless they've hurt somebody that I love or hurt myself, and that's kind of where the line is drawn. Other than that, you can just do whatever you want, and I have opinions. You have opinions. You're entitled to your opinions. I'm entitled to mine. Just don't try to change mine. I won't try to change yours.
Well, if we're going to change our own minds, sure, listen to other people, and if they happen to give you a point of fact or something that makes you change your mind, great. But that's an organic.
Yeah, be open to have your mind changed. That's a plus. Yeah, but I'm not going to go out of my way to right, if someone, exactly. I'm not going to argue with somebody who has that. If they're so entrenched in that belief, it's not worth my argument. If someone has wiggle room, have an open mind, I'm down to wiggle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me go ahead and get this done while I'm here. I'm going to show you. I'm actually getting this thing bought here.
Cool.
And let's see. I'm trying to. What's going on here? I guess it's not letting me pledge for some reason. Oh, okay. That's why. All right. I just sort of forgot. I hadn't pushed the.
Check all those boxes.
Yeah. So you are we said 86 people, 87 people. Okay.
Sweet.
And we're still at like 33,064 or something like that. So.
Yeah, I mean it's less than 1,000 away, which is like I said, I got 2.5 more weeks, so looking good.
Yeah. I will definitely keep promoting this.
Oh yeah, I mean I appreciate it. I'm gonna be barking about it all month long, and then probably be having updates and good stuff like that when stuff starts rolling in. And I expect, like the campaign ends in September. They're telling me it's going to take a number of days before those funds hit my bank account before I can start purchasing stuff. So I'm expecting hopefully get the stuff out by October. I want it out by the fall winter to have everything out. So I'm going to go out and get all the shipping stuff that I need, and I need to get tubes for the art, so that'll be fun. I got to have people help me stuff and label these bastards.
Yeah, it is not the easiest thing to do.
Like I said, I'm up for it. I have people that are excited to help me. If I manage it right, I should be able to be okay. My goal is to kind of try to knock it off as many tiers as I can per week, so it doesn't take me more than 3 weeks. So like 2 tiers a week. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. There's a lot of people like there's bunches of tiers where some have bought a couple, and then other tiers there's like a lot. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out for the rest of the month. I'm excited, man. I'm so excited. And then, again, thank you to everyone who's pledged already. Thank you, Lewis. I appreciate that. And anyone who wants to, please, check it out. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, the like I said, I think what we'll do here is, since you've got multiple issues that you're hoping to get out there, you and I are going to have to talk and see what I can do to contribute some work to this.
Cool. Yeah. I've been trying to figure out how to put together the best pitch package for a publisher too. So, I'll accept any advice and help I can get. Cause, like I said, I'm very passionate about getting the story out. It's something I've been wanting to do for like the last 15 years. So, I don't know what I'm going to feel like when it's all over and I've told the last page. But like I said, I have a lot of cool stuff that I want to get to after that. Yeah. Like a little bit of a post-cartoonist depression. But yeah, no, I'm ready for the ride, man. I'm ready to put the work in. I'm ready to put the pencil mileage in and the ink mileage. I have a lot of crazy ideas. I just want to get down on paper. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what are you doing for New Comic Book Day?
I am not doing anything for New Comic Book Day, as far as I know.
Okay.
That's this Saturday, right?
Yep.
Depends on how hot it is. It's supposed to be getting up there for the next few days, and I don't, unfortunately, live near a lot of places. I don't live near a place that has any comic shops. I kind of live out It's called Happy Valley. Not very happy. I mean, it's happy sometimes. I have things. I have things that keep me happy. Very, very, very lovely things that keep me happy. But as far as comic book shops, there's not too many around here. I have to go a stretch to get to one. But I might hit up a buddy and have them go and maybe scrounge around for me. I did really want to get that Red Room book. It looks good. I'm a big fan of Ed's cartooning. I like the book enough. I think I'm disengaged from a lot of material because I'm an older person, so I don't get a lot of the jargon or the Bitcoin talk and stuff. I understand it to a degree, but the level of nuance there, I think I'm missing a little bit. But for the most part, yeah, I'm having a wild ride with that book. So if you like blood and gore, check it out. The cartooning is amazing. He's a great cartoonist. You gotta give him that.
That's what I said when I reviewed it. I reviewed issue number 1, and I was like, as far as the technical execution of the work, it's excellent. Give it a 5 star. But in terms of me really wanting to read what the story's about, it didn't really.
Well, yeah, exactly. And the intriguing thing is, I've up to issue 3. I haven't read the third one yet. It just came in the other day, but I did read the first 2, and I do like how it's kind of like a different prism, or like different view of this world. I think that's really intriguing. So I'd like to see how those connect. But I think I like the first issue a lot. I did the second issue it was like a sophomoric return in a way. Like the story itself didn't seem is intriguing, but like I said, I felt there's a slight disconnect for me while reading it. I don't know what that's from. Like again, I kind of attribute to me just not knowing that much about the tech industry, or lawyer speak maybe. But again, I knew what was happening and I was engaged enough to it was satisfying when I got to the end of it. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the third one. I'm just right now really wondering what Jim's working on, because I gotta know, man. I'll be the first in line, man. So I bought in his Octobriana in 1976, and I got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Blacklight poster. I got Aphrodisiac. Like I realized I was a fan of his longer than I knew about him in a way, because I would pick up his books, and I didn't know Jim Rugg, and that wasn't a well-known name for me, but he put out really quality work, so. I was like, oh man, this guy's got some he's really versatile, and so especially Aphrodisiac. I mean, I kind of wanted to, if I couldn't get to 12 issues of Heavy done, I was going to figure out a way to condense everything. So it's kind of like that, where he kind of has a different kind of opening and different kind of genre structure for each story of the Aphrodisiac. I thought that'd be kind of a kick for Heavy, but then I thought, well, that's a good idea, and I want to steal it. So I don't want to come off as a forager like that, but. Yeah, again, when his next project's announced, I'm down like a clown.
Learn from everybody else. I mean,
Yeah, good artist borrow, great artist steal, right? Know how it goes.
Well, it's that person is just stealing. It's, can you steal without having been obvious of what you stole from?
I don't know, man. Be as obvious as you can. I think wear your homages on your sleeve. I think that's the best way to do it. I mean, Tarantino does it in his movies. If you know cinema, when he pulls out a shot or does something, you're like, oh, that's exactly from this moment of that film that's so obscure, no one else would know about it. So that's the way he plays those beats. So I think, I'm a big fan of Jordi Bernay. I think a lot of his stuff kind of pokes out in my work a bit, But as far as I don't know. I like that, be subtle, but again, if you be loud and proud too, man. You just show those things, because I think other people that appreciate those artists will understand what you're doing, So anyway, put your own spin on it for sure. You can't just copy and trace.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is more of the writers than the artists.
Of course, right? Yes, yeah. And you say you write too. How's that go for you as far as your writing day, as far as getting inspired by ideas and such?
Oh geez, these days I don't get inspired.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well, the thing is, in the 90s I was very successful. My parents both suffered some major health problems, and I had to take time off.
Oh man, sucks.
I've basically been a caregiver for a good 20 years now. For now, it's just my dad, but for both of them, I was scared.
Oh wow.
And I just kind of, I won't say I got stagnant. I just got so swamped with all that stuff, I just didn't have time for it for a while. And then when I tried to get back into it, it was like, well, you haven't done it for so long, we don't really want you, type thing. That's the industry.
Right.
So,
right.
And I was like, okay, whatever. So I've got into comics journalism for a while. I got into basically helping other people do their thing.
Yeah, right on. I can relate.
Yeah. And, I did some of the stuff like you. I've done comics for other people, outside of the comic book industry and stuff like that.
Sure.
Nothing like that. But, and I wrote prose fiction, and I scouted for a lot of people. I've probably had more influence on the comic book industry as a talent scout than I have as a creator.
That's as important, I would think, too. Maybe even more important. You find those really gold gems, diamonds in the rough, as it were, right?
Yeah, well, people blame me for Bendis, but that's the way it is.
Blame you? I don't know, man. He contributed a lot himself, so I think that's a win. I consider that a win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people who don't like his style.
Well, like I said, people can just go eat crow. Then just write your own comic book that has the style you want to read. I don't know what else to tell those people. Like, don't buy his books. I don't, what I mean? Like, don't read somebody's book and then complain. You know what I mean? Like, if you just out of hate, like if you want to go in hating a guy and you read his book just to hate on him, I think that's anti-productive. Go make your own thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I hated, and I just took all that hate and made it into something that I appreciated. You know what I mean? Like Cloverfield. I love that movie, but I hate the whole thing about the practicality. So I wrote a giant monster story where it makes sense where people would stick around in that area. Like, is that, you know what I mean? So, like, figure out your solution to things you hate and then make that thing. Don't complain about the thing you hate.
Kim Craig says Jim's going to do a TNT.
Are you serious, Craig? Oh, man, no way, dude.
Well, first off, I don't know if he could do that.
Who knows?
I mean,
I was thinking that he was going to do something Hulk related, and I was like, no, because if anyone wants to do Hulk Grand Design, it's this guy right here, man. You're talking monsters and big bulgy guys. I could draw that all friggin' year, all day.
Yes. Anyway, I mean, I like Street Angel. I like Octo Brianna.
Yeah, I did too.
I never have seen it. I've not seen Aphrodisiac in the wild.
It's possibly. I just got the Super Mag, and I really like Super Mag a lot. But I think Aphrodisiac might be my favorite thing that he's done, just because it showcases a lot of skill. Because he switches up the drawing style depending on the piece and the thing he's trying to homage. And there's like just random panels. There's one panel, it's just randomly Aphrodisiac. I would believe it's in the African desert with a lion. Mm-hmm. And I think I can't remember what the word balloon is, but that's just it. And it's like these little excerpts. There's a double page splash of like the Aphrodisiac animated Saturday morning kids show, like Super Friends kind of setup. And it's great. Okay. But yeah, so it's like, you have these little bits of like these kind of the legacy pieces this character has left behind through the ages in a way. And he's fighting like women from Venus. He's punching Dracula in the face and another story. So it's great. Like if you haven't, and I don't know if it's still available because Ad House published that book. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if they all came this, but it's hardcover, and the treatment is beautiful. The design's beautiful. The whole thing is. I guess. Yeah. The Patreon. Yeah, I'm part of his Patreon. Believe me, trust me. Yeah. He's like again, like he's one I watch all the time, and I really like his. After getting to kind of know him through the videos, as it were, as much as you can know somebody through a YouTube video, his analytical approach definitely is always highly on display. And then when you go back and look at his works, you can see the choices. You know what I mean? Like you can see why, or maybe not the why, but you can tell he's making choices, which is the stuff I take away from it. Like, okay, he thought about that. I should give more thought to things like that too. Like textures or just like gestures, all that, anything that you can use to make a comic are choices, and like he makes some of the best choices I've seen. Just simply put. So. Sure.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Jim. I have a lot of respect for Ed.
I do too. I love Ed's swagger. I think that's super important. And again, to me, like I love Jim's art, but I love Ed's cartooning. Like I very, very again underground feel. Very crummish in a way, but contemporary at the same time. It's very, very.
He's got a lot of EC influence. Ed does. He's got a lot of EC guys influence in there.
I can see that. Yeah, I see more like the Zap stuff. The stuff that's coming out of San Francisco in the underground back in the day, like Ashbury High kind of stuff. It's really floats my boat, or the stuff in the Catskills that were happening at the time. I definitely see a lot of that urbanness, and like a little bit of like that counterculture stuff, sure. Especially with the hip hop books. Hip hop books, it was all counterculture at the time until it became culture, which is a crazy turn of events for the hip hop culture in its own right. But Yeah, very interesting. But both of them really smart guys, and that's like where I think like if I'm dumb enough to get lucky on this thing, hopefully people can see that even dumb people can make comic books too.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I don't.
We got plenty of dumb people who make comic books. It's just I don't know.
Well, maybe I'm not giving myself too much smart credit, but I don't know if I'm anywhere near the level they are. But I definitely like to think that I make good choices as far as storytelling, cartooning. So
hopefully you're not gonna like make characters that I get so angry I puke out my internal organs.
Right. Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah. Like I said. And I don't.
And you're a threat to who?
Right.
Your name is Atrocitus. That's appropriate. But anyway. But so we've been talking here with Ben Perkins, creator of Heavy. Again, his Kickstarter page is there. Projects.
Perfect.
Issue number 1, Heavy issue 1.
And it's going strong, man. Yeah, and I thank you for your contribution, man. I hope you like what you get. So I'm looking forward to sending that out.
I'm sure I will. Let's go ahead and take a quick thing here again. I gotta refresh that page actually. It doesn't want me to go back to the. There we go.
Technology. Look at that. There you go.
So now you're over 3,100.
So I got about a little less than 900 left to make.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And you started out with 85 backers, I think, at the start of this episode, and you got 3 backers, son.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
So that's cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, it's had steady growth over the last 10 days. Like I said, I'm expecting kind of a slump because that's what I've been expecting. Someone tells me. Interviews like this and a few others I have coming up, within the next couple of weeks, I think are going to help boost it so we can actually at least reach goal. Yeah, I'd love to make a little past goal, but it's not hitting goal is the priority. Anything after that is just going to go back into making more issues of Heavy, really. So, it's super exciting stuff. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect. I think I hit. I can't remember how much I hit my first day. I think it was like 1,000. I think I hit like a quarter the first day, that blew my mind. It was maybe like the initial jump of it. People got excited. Hopefully, I planned the Kickstarter right in the time frame where, like, if people get paid twice a week, they still have a chance to kind of jump on. If they've missed the launch or whatever. But I tried to shout it to as many people as I could. So again, I very much appreciate you having me on and talk about it. Letting people get to know me a little bit and what the project's about, because I think that's going to help. It obviously did. We got 3 people, so that's a hoorah right there. I'm super happy.
Did we? Do you still have your Kickstarter page?
I'm sorry?
Not your Kickstarter, your DeviantArt page. That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those last things I can't get rid of. And it's fascinating because I used to have so much interaction on that page. I mean, I'd be talking to people all day on a certain thread. And they disappeared. They went to Instagram. They went somewhere else. So I'm on Instagram. But I still have a DeviantArt page. I have one person who's devoted to, and I talk to them all the time. But for mostly, it's just, I think for me now, it's a place where I can just have some online storage of some of the stuff that I produce instead of just having it on my hard drive in case something happens to that. It's out there in the world somewhere where I can kind of get back at it.
Hey, Kim, Craig, thanks for watching. Please
love you, Craig.
Subscribe to the channel because I get a lot of folks like Ben on the show. I'm always promoting creators left and right. That's what this channel is for, is to help promote other independent creators as well as myself, but mostly the other guys. That's what I do. So if you liked what you saw tonight, check my backlog on the channel and give a subscription a consideration. Have a good night. And like you say, DA has that kind of a weird, everybody went elsewhere type thing happened there.
Right, and they got kind of like a what you call it, mark. Yeah, well, there's like the mark against it because I guess it's gotten known for having a lot of like perverted fan art and stuff and fan fiction kind of things. Like I said, I don't come across that in my searches. The people that I follow are traditionally like illustrators.
Because I can guarantee you can find it anywhere if you look for it.
That's exactly right. People are into weird stuff, and people want to show that they're talented drawing weird stuff, and that's great.
Sure.
I'm a little bit more clinical with my art, and I just like to share, other stuff that I've made. But yeah, I think I have like 4,000 different files up there, so that's quite a bit. You look on there, it says been deviant for like think it's like it's up there. I think it's over a decade, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to let it go. I can't seem to delete that account. I love it too much.
Well, let me see here if I can find you on DA real quick.
I'm on under BrightRaven with 2 T's.
Okay, BrightRaven with 2 T's.
That is, yep, all one word.
Let's see if it'll show you up.
I think I might have a unicorn horn on my picture.
Yeah, you got the space race. I found the space race.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's fun. I'm hopefully going to be getting to that project here as soon as things clear up. Had a lot of work here to do, but it's fun.
Actually, I'm already watching you on that.
Cool. Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense now. Yeah. Okay, I thought I recognized the name somehow. What do you want? What's your name on DeviantArt?
BrightRaven.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me. I was like, that sounds horribly familiar. I don't know that from. That makes the final piece locked in. I don't know.
Yeah, well, actually, I actually found heavy on Kickstarter because I'm always searching Kickstarter.
Cool.
I'm always searching Indiegogo to promote creators.
Sure.
So it's like, anything that just grabs my eye, that, people will tell you I do online shopping episodes. Hey, let's look what's on Kickstarter now.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Type thing. So, yeah, and then people will say, "Oh, I like that. Oh, I saw you like my stuff. Can I come on your show?" Yeah, you can, as long as you behave.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of what I do.
That's cool.
And yes, I mean, I do live draws here on the weekends sometimes and stuff, or other times and stuff. But people have asked me.
I think I started watching one of yours. I can't remember whatever the recent one was. I can't remember who you were drawing, but yeah, it was like looking pretty good.
Yeah,
it's a cartoon character. I can't remember which one it was though now.
Okay, possibly Roger Rabbit.
I probably was, yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was seeing you sketch it, and I wasn't able to watch the whole video, but
let me see here. This one.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. That looks so good, man. That's cool.
And then I've got Scooby and Shaggy.
Nice, that's so cool. Yeah, I grew up fucking copying those coloring books I'd get, with Shaggy and Scooby and all that, and just trying to get those lines.
Yeah,
it's fun stuff. A lot of tracing paper.
Yeah, and then there's the crazy. I'm trying to find something else here. Now you want to see what my characters are. This is one of mine. This is let me pull it back out to my full screen. Regular viewers have seen this image a lot, but this is Spacey the alien.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow, that's cool.
And this is a series I did in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
As a black and white coloring and activity comic book.
Oh, that's cool.
And
that sounds like a lot of fun.
A lot of work, actually, because it was more of an educational comic than the traditional type entertaining comic, so to speak.
Sure.
So I had to do a lot of extra stuff with it to get it to pass, so I could get it through.
That's funny. It kind of reminds me of back when I was in fourth grade or something. In grade school, they passed out those comics of was it like Electro? He was like an electric guy with a light bulb for a nose. He was just like a red lightning bolt. But the comics are so cool, and I always loved to grab those, But they were information about how I gotta be careful around electricity and stuff, and how it's generated and what it's used for and all that. Real science stuff. And I'm just like, oh, these are cool drawings, But yeah, some of those commercial comics, they have really good artists on them for some reason. Like Colgate has a comic, and I'm like, yeah, where'd they get this artist?
Yeah. Well, that's the kind of stuff that I did though in the 90s. I did
that's
that
cool.
And then I did another science fiction superhero team called the Supreme Six.
Oh, cool.
Those are two of the characters from that series.
Oh wow, yeah. Are you still drawing currently?
Oh yeah, I just need to get my act together again and rebuild Spacey because I don't want to do what I did back then.
All right.
I want to do something that's more contemporary and more more traditional comic than what I did before.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, it was different when I was 20 something, and I was going to the high schools and the junior high schools as a not an adjunct teacher, but a student teacher. I was getting my qualifications and stuff in college.
Right.
And so I had to go to the schools and sit in class and do all the interactions with all that. And that's what I did with all that was I would sit there and tell the story about the alien meeting the kids, and he takes the kids out to outer space to all the planets in our solar system, and they have little adventures, and you tell them the facts about the planets. And you do
That's cool.
Stuff like that. That's what I did back then, and it sold
Nice.
well. It sold very well, about 7,000 units a book.
Yeah, well, yeah, the school system, man, they'll get you books, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to deal with that today.
Yeah, it's a lot of coordination and management, right?
Well, it's not just that; it's the whole, okay, how much political correctness do I got to have for that now?
I see, right?
And it was hard enough back then to convince school boards and stuff like that to promote that and be into that. I also taught the kids how to make their own comics, and we actually sold the kids comics.
That's awesome.
You print the old ash cans were popular back in the early 90s, so that's what we did with
Yeah, I remember those very, very fondly. Yes.
Yeah. So we did a lot of those type of little fanzines with the kids and stuff like that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was what I did early on. Then I started working as a scout and editorial assistant for the late Gary Rita Caliber Press.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar with Caliber, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I discovered Bendis, basically.
Right, that makes a lot of sense.
And I don't want to say I discovered him. It was me and Gary and the Pruitts, all four of us.
Sure, perfect storm.
Yeah, type thing. But
well, and that's like he had one of my favorite quotes about when he was getting big in Marvel, I guess, like right before then, or I think he landed Ultimate Spider-Man, and I think when the first trade come out, it was like super high, like really popular. And I think an interviewer was like, how are you dealing with this the sudden success? He's like, well, it's a 15-year overnight success, and I feel similar about that in the kind of like how I've approached my career, where it's been kind of like just a good slow burn, but it was a slow enough burn where I could learn everything I needed to learn to like now, where it counts, I can like make something that's credible or at least competent,
Okay, folks, let's close this out then, real quick. Again, Heavy Issue 1, and I'm going to find that Kickstarter address again. Here we go.
Perfect.
And again, this is anthropomorphic post-apocalyptic Western with a cool horseman. Yeah, here we go. He's the horseman of the apocalypse.
Oh shit, dude. Why didn't I talk to you before I wrote this book? It completely changed everything. Actually, I never even thought of that, but like that could actually be a cool wrinkle I could fold in somehow down the line. Just allude to that. It's kind of weird. Yeah, maybe I didn't think of it because it was maybe just kind of like on the nose. Yeah, I wouldn't say obvious. It just seems. But yeah, I never even thought of that. Right, a horseman. He's literally a horseman. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, no. Maybe it's because I'm not religious. I don't think of those biblical implications, but that's pretty good. Yeah, right off the bat. Yeah. Well, you should be you're a good pitch man. So keep it going.
Yeah. So this ought to be fun to see though. And
yeah, man, it's gonna be great. Like I said, I hope you enjoy the first issue, man. It's got some shocking moments, and it kind of sets up the dominoes to fall later on. So it's almost like a prologue issue in a way, but it needed to happen. Like without it, you don't really get a lot of the nuance of, I thought it was just an important stepping stone, and like it's not too laborious of a read. You don't have to remember too many things. It's kind of like this happens, and now we're left with this at the end of the issue, and a little bit of a question, and a little bit of a realization from Heavy. Heavy's just kind of like, I think his final word in the issue is "damn." Like crap. I'm in it now.
If you're interested in other things you can find of his, you can go to galaxygator.net, or you can go to DeviantArt. Let's see, that would be deviantart.com/, BrightRaven.
That's me.
And this thing is not doing what it's supposed to do. I just got a new keyboard yesterday.
Yeah. I always have trouble with that website address too because it's counterintuitive the way I thought. I think I can't remember if DeviantArt comes first or my name comes first in the web address. So I always just copy and paste it to people because I can never remember how it goes.
Well, no,
there you go. There you go.
It's not that. It's not that. I'm not. The keyboard's not set up the same way as my last one.
Oh, I see.
So,
my apologies.
Every once in a while, I just like hit the wrong. Well, that's not how it's supposed to go.
You got to get used to it. Yeah, that's true. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you can go ahead and check out his art there as well. Do you have other social media accounts that we should be checking out?
Instagram. BrightRaven on Instagram. I'm on Twitter at Heavy the Horse. And then I'm on Facebook, Ben Perkins, and I think it's either Ben Perkins Art or Ben Perkins Artist. I have an art page there too, which is a lot of similar stuff I share within the groups and stuff. Usually when I put something up, it goes to all my social media at once because some people follow me here, some people follow me somewhere else. So I want to make sure everybody sees what I'm doing. So yeah, I'm always trying to be more regular on Instagram. It's kind of one of those things I again found a lot of my deviant art is on Instagram, so I'm like, okay, I guess this is where we're at now. I have to post something every day. What? So to meet the algorithm and to get that flow of likes and stuff. But it's kind of crazy. Every time I post a picture, I get 5-10 more followers. So it's kind of insane that way.
Well, I'm friends with you on your personal page. You have an actual comics page, you're saying?
Yeah, it's either Ben Perkins Artist or Ben Perkins Art. I can never remember what it's called. But yeah, it's got it's a little dragon-faced man. That's the logo of the avatar for that. So it's like purple and green. If I could, yeah, I might be able to call it.
Crown. All right, whatever. I tried to go. You also got a LinkedIn page, but I don't know if you want to share that.
I don't use LinkedIn anymore. I think I forgot my credentials to get in, and I'm not. It wasn't really conducive to comic book stuff. It was more business, like businesses.
Okay, that's cool. So let me look up the other thing you said. Ben.
Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, it's Ben Perkins Art. It's facebook.com/Ben Perkins Art. So there you go. Yeah, I've got some new. I think I just posted some new drawings of. It's like a top secret project, we're doing this thing, but something I've been tooling with. So I teased out some art for that, just get the palette of what I don't know when I can release it. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff. I found a lot of fan projects. I think I got some pages in the Weapon X book. That's the homage to the Weapon X, Barry Winston Smith stuff. I got 1963 stuff coming out for that fan project. What else did I do? Darker Image. I had a lot of stuff, man. A lot of people hit me up to be part of something, and that's what I've been busy doing. So, just another way to get my name out there and show another side to the art. I can do a bunch of different stuff. The Darker Image stuff is fun because I had to emulate the '90s coloring in a lot of ways. So trying to do all the stuff that kind of looked icky now, but I look badass then. Trying to recapture a little bit of that, but have that balance of let's not go for all the radio blurs and stuff and all that. So yeah, that was kind of fun to do. But yeah, that came out really great.
And no, what's the word for it? Flares. No flares.
Yeah, flares. That was a big one. So yeah, I think Tanner O'Neill wrote that one. He wrote a good script, and it's Darkness Meets the Mess. So that's gonna be a little fun. I think it was 6 pages in there. So I wanted to do more, but yeah, I got overwhelmed with all the other stuff I'm doing, and then the Kickstarter rolled, so I had to pull back some stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna be all over the place in the next year or so, like a bunch of different projects. So I think people are gonna get sick of me here, which is kind of the point.
Well, as long as you're not putting out 20 books a month like some people I know.
Oh wow, that's a lot of books. Yeah, I don't think I have the energy for that. My goal is to try to get at least two done a year.
Yeah, I mean, granted he's a writer, but it's still
right. Yeah, how do you not keep those sounding the same? That'd be the real trick. I mean, he's either really skilled or he just knows how to get different voices out of his head. That's or her head. I don't know who you're referring to, but
yeah, it's a him.
Okay, yeah, that's a crazy amount of stories, and to not have them. I wonder if there's any homogeny between them, or if they're all really that distinct. That's pretty impressive.
I don't want to say.
I think you've answered my questions.
Well, it's not fair for me to say because I haven't read a lot of them. Because I
understood.
And it's the thing of I'm so sick of seeing that person everywhere I look that it's like it doesn't even matter if you're good now. I'm just sick and tired of seeing you.
I see. It's like a little bit of an oversaturation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. So, but he is a good writer. I'm not saying he's not a good writer. So.
Well, he has to be if he's writing 20 of them. I mean, somebody believes in him somewhere.
Yeah. Check your. Well, do you see the private chat in your room on your phone?
No,
you don't. Okay, never mind. All right. I just wanted to know. I'll do it the other way then.
apologies. Yeah, nothing. I had nothing come up in anything on this side. So
no, that was the difference between the phone and the computer, probably. No biggie.
you're probably right.
But I'm telling you who the writer is on your Facebook Messenger.
Okay, cool.
So you'll know who I'm talking about.
Oh, right on. Yeah. I'm very familiar with his work. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And again,
But also, everything I've read has been very distinct. So that says something. So yeah, I don't know. I've only read a couple things, so I didn't know he had that many. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have it all the time, but he's had that many as many titles in a given month.
Wow, that's crazy.
And that's nice like that. No, there's other writers out there. Publishers hire someone else.
Right.
In there, but anyway, I'm always bringing that up. I should stop.
It's like a knee-jerk reaction for you, right?
Yeah, it is. It is a knee-jerk reaction for me. But again, heavy Kickstarter. Make sure you guys check that out. And
please, yeah, that's a fun title, man. And once it gets rolling, if you jump on board for the first one, I think you'll be on the hook for the rest. I really do. It's a good introductory issue, and I think it's kind of weird because the second issue kind of jumps forward in time a little bit, so it might be a little bit disconcerting. But I think it's again really easy to pick up what's happening. I pretty much. I'm a big proponent of holding the audience's hand through a story. Not too much, but enough for they won't get lost, especially with the reading format.
Alrighty, I'm gonna let you go then. And
perfect, man. Thank you so much for having me on and giving me a chance to talk about this. I'm apologize if I was blabbermouth, but I'm very talkative.
You're doing good.
Okay,
we both blabbered a little bit today, but it's always had that fun interaction and talk about different things we do. But I'm trying to find the other thing I wanted to show here, but there it is. My computer's, like I said, fussy as heck at times. There you are, you little sucker. People want. Speaking of social media contacts, that's what we gotta get into. If it'll actually share the screen, but it won't. Alrighty, there we go. Mm-hmm. All right. If you guys want to reach me, I'm on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter at LewisBrightRaven2. I'm also at DeviantArt. I'm at DeviantArt.com/BrightRaven or BrightRaven.DeviantArt.com. Either way, you'll find us. You can BraddyBen.DeviantArt.com. Either way, you'll find us. You're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis BrightRaven on YouTube exclusively. There's plenty of other interviews with other creators and live draw episodes and reviews. If you have questions about me or you want to find a way to reach him, you can't find him, you can reach me at quoththeraven.lbr72@gmail.com. And if I don't get back to you, try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. On Mondays, we do Monday Comics News and Reviews. Actually, I did that today this week, early at 4 o'clock. Wednesdays, we do What Did You Get This Week, which is why I did Thursdays, because I wasn't here yesterday to do What Did You Get This Week, because my father was sick.
Right.
Thursday night is our roundtable talk discussion. I usually have a guest or multiple guests. We either talk about crowdfunding or we have a subject at large that we discuss. And Fridays at 9 p.m. we have genre night. Each week is a different genre. Sometimes I have guests with me, sometimes I don't. It could be fantasy, horror, science fiction, westerns, whatever. It could be comics, it could be television, it could be movies, it could be books, novels. So I'm all over the place on Fridays. And tomorrow night will be a review of Star Trek Picard Season 1.
Nice.
And then Saturdays and Sundays, I usually do a live draw, but I won't be doing that this week because I will be, again, at Scratch and Spin Comics and Collectibles in West Columbia from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. this weekend for Free Comic Book Day. So if you liked our video or liked what you saw today, or you think others might, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get support from our channel. As always, I thank you all for watching and your support. And share this video and let people hear about Ben's project, and hopefully check out his project some more. And that's pretty much it for folks. So we will see you guys next time. Have a good one.
All right. See you. Thank you, man.
Oops.